Ethnos IT Solutions, a leading Nigerian solutions technology provider in partnership with Checkmarx, an Israeli-based enterprise-grade application security solutions provider, hosted a strategic application security seminar for developers and IT security experts in Lagos. It brought together a wide representation from the financial services, telecommunications, government, and technology firms. Giving the first presentation on the increasing need for cybersecurity, the regional sales manager for Africa, Checkmarx, Mr. Eli Menashe, noted that the cyberspace is facing increasing threats and challenges from vices like hacking, which needs robust preventive measures.
Why SAST? SAST, for your understanding, SAST meaning Static Application Security Testing. As I mentioned before, actually there are two approaches. One that called SAST, Static Application Security Testing, the dealing in your code before the compilation in very, very early stage of the development, okay, and can tell you which line of code you have a security vulnerability and how to fix it. Other technology that also existing in this arena is called DAST. DAST meaning Dynamic Application Security Testing, that looking at your code after the compilation on the binary codes. But Checkmarx, as I mentioned before, as I mentioned in the beginning, focus on the preview before you are making a compilation in your code and tell you where exactly. The bottom line, guys, we are at war. We are really at war. So JP Morgan, Bank of America, Citibank, Wells Fargo, spending over $1.5 billion, okay, to battle cybercrime frauds. So as you can see in this slide, we have different bubbles, the blue and the red, okay? The blue show you small breaches, small, but still a lot of file, and the red one show you big breaches, a different company, different sectors. So the bottom line, that the hackers become very professional, that it's not a game of children anymore, they are coming very professional. Most of the time they want to cause you damage, they want to steal money, but in the other cases, your competitors and other cases, people that just want teenagers that want to play and to cause you a damage. Imagine yourself that you are protect your house with electric fence. Electric fence is equal to a firewall. I can easily jump on your electric fence and walk at your home and can do whatever I want. And the application layers is equal to alarm, to camera, to all the other things in order to complete your protection from hackers. So the firewall is one layer, and the application, security application is also additional layer, because I can hack you via username and password and all the regular fields by going to your portal. Okay, so let's have a look. Once again, 80% of successful attacks target the application layer. According to Gartner, 86% found they have a medium or higher severity vulnerability, which is about over 12,000 applications. So a simple calculation, $202 average cost of data breach, time 30K, which is average numbers of compromised records per breach, lead you to the average cost of data breach, which is over $6.6 million. There is a RASP, a new technology that called Runtime Application Security Protection, which is Checkmarx started to develop this solution, but unfortunately, due to the fact that we found that the market is not mature enough, we decided to hold a bit. And there is a WAF that you are already familiar with that called Web Application Firewall.
In the second presentation, Mr. Dennis Benoniel of Checkmarx explored security for apps, web and mobile applications, as well as solution strategies developed by Checkmarx.
What we see already is that 60% of mobile phone malware are targeted to the financial information. And why the hackers are targeting that? For two reasons. First of all, there is money to steal, and second, there are a lot of vulnerabilities and security issues in the mobile apps. Okay, so let's start by looking at the differences between classical application, I would say desktop applications on the web, and mobile applications. First of all, what is interesting with mobile is that we all do that. We all store a lot of personal stuff on our mobile. It can be our contact list, professional, friends. It can be pictures. It can be videos, SMS, WhatsApp, and so on and so forth. So a lot of personal stuff on our mobile. Now, let's start with the problems. It starts with physical availability of the mobile. What does it mean? It means that because we use our mobile everywhere, it may be in a restaurant, in a bus, so anyone can look over our shoulder, and in a few seconds he may have access to very sensitive information. Hackers are very smart. They are able sometimes to take your application, the executable, and then do reverse engineering, access to the source code, change it, and then publish a malicious application on the App Store, for example. And hopefully we have solution. It's one of the first that I will show you. You can use checksum. You can detect if your application is in debug mode to remove the problem. So this is the Checkmarx portal. So you have here an option to see the queries. We call it queries. It's the security rules that we provide out of the box. And let's have a look at the Android world. So you see we provide about 100 rules for each language. And so if I want to see what we do, what we cover in Android, it's under the Java language. By the way, it's interesting here, CX, what is under CX, it means that it's provided by Checkmarx. And what you see here, corporation, it's rules that you can define. You can add your own rules to fit your needs, okay? So regarding Java, if I open Java Android, you will see how it works. It's very easy. So we provide rules according to the level of severity of OWASP. So we don't decide what is the level of severity. We follow the standards of industry. So let's start with the red one is the high severity. So let's take, for example, this one. Okay, so what do we see here on this pane? We see information for the developer because we know that the developer, they didn't get training about security. I was a developer and I didn't know anything about security. So that's why we added that, not for me, but for all the developers. So we explain them for each kind of vulnerability, what is the risk. It means if a developer finds this vulnerability and exploits it, what may be the damage. And then we explain him or her what is the cause, in which case it may happen. And then very important, because it's nice to see the vulnerabilities, but it's better to fix them. So we also explain to the developers, we give him recommendations to fix the code. And also in some case, we have also source code examples, so the developer has a good example to do the fix.
Checkmarx is actually a vendor, Israeli vendors, that focus mainly on source code analysis. We are definitely working according to the standards, looking at the code in very, very early stage of the development. I mean, before the compilation, in very early stage, when the developers are writing the code, and we can identify and tell you exactly where you have the security vulnerability, which line of code, and also we give you some remediation advice, which means what you need to do in order to fix all the security vulnerability in terms of the cyber security. Okay? By that, we can make sure that a hacker cannot hack you and cause you big damage when they hack you and hack your asset and your database and so on.
What we see in this industry is, first of all, an incredible number of applications, an incredible number of downloads by the users, and of course it means a lot of opportunities for the hackers to do big damage all around the world. And what we try to do is to convince developers that they are the key people in this war, because we can speak about a war. And so they should learn about security. They should use tools like Checkmarx to scan their code, to detect the vulnerabilities, and to fix them as soon as possible.
The impact of the fourth industrial revolution, which is driven by digital technology, is remarkable. But it is important that companies and governments pay more attention to the security of their applications and devices.